Hey guys, today we're going to start with substitution a little bit more. We're going to talk a little bit more in depth and examine a few different types that we haven't looked at before. Okay, so first off, we're going to look at our first example here. And this one is relatively similar to what we've been looking at, but that's okay. We want to get a little bit more review in. Okay, now remember, our first step of solving systems is to decide which one of the equations is solved for already. Okay, so if you look at this, you can see that x is already solved for. Okay, x is all by itself, and that's what x is. Now we want to substitute whatever x is into the x of the other equation. So I'm going to go ahead and rewrite this. So instead of 2x, I'm going to write 2, and then what x is, 3y minus 4. And we're going to finish off our equation. So plus y equals 6. All right, so now we got to go through and do our distribution. So I'm going to combine everything, or multiply everything on the outside by everything on the inside. Okay, so 2 times 3y will give us 6y, and 2 times minus 4 will give us negative 8, and then continue our equation. Okay, so this was our distribution step. Okay, now on our 5 steps of solving equations, we have distribution, then combine like terms. So let's put the things together that are the same. So if you have 6y and 1y, that will give you 7y's, and minus 8, and that all equals 6. Okay, so once you do those 2 steps, then you have to undo subtraction with addition. And that gives us 7y equals 14. And last step, undo multiplication with division. The 7's cancel out, and then y gives us 2. Okay, so we have found the first part of our ordered pair solution. Okay, so our xy, we have found our y, and we know it to be 2. Okay, but how can we figure out our x? Okay, well, we simply have to plug our y back into the y in either of our equations, but we want to choose the easiest one. So let's choose the bottom guy. Okay, so we're going to rewrite that equation. X equals 3y minus 4, but instead of y, we're going to put our 2. Okay, so we have x equals 3 times 2 minus 4. Okay, and 3 times 2 is 6. And if we subtract 4, that of course gives us 2. So our x is 2, same as our y. So we know that our ordered pair is going to be x is 2, y is 2. Okay, make sure you get these down and get all the notes down, and we'll move on to the next one. All right. Example number 2. And I'm not going to go all the way through this one. I just want to set it up. That way you are familiar with how to handle a certain negative sign issue that I've been seeing. Okay, so we know that y is solved for. We know that it's this. Okay, well, now we can substitute that into here. Okay, so let's rewrite that equation. So we have 2x minus, and this is where I've been seeing the error. Okay, people need to put it inside parentheses and then plug in your 3x minus 5. Okay, so 2x minus 3x minus 5 equals 8. Now when you go ahead to distribute, you need to be aware that there is a 1 here. Okay, so you're distributing a negative 1 to each of these. Okay, so if that happens, be aware that that is how you handle that situation. Okay, I'm not going to go all the way through this. I just wanted to show you how to set it up. All right, we're going to go through 2 more examples, and these type of examples are our new ones for the week. Okay. Actually, let's look at this one. Excuse me, this one isn't new, the next one is. Okay, so let's look at this one. We have 2 more examples to look at. And our first step is to figure out which one has a variable solved for. And we once again see that the bottom guy has x solved for. So we're going to want to plug that into our x. Okay, so let's rewrite that top equation. So we have 7y plus 5 minus 4y equals 8. Okay, now our 5 steps of solving equations. Our first is distribution. Well, we don't have any distribution to do. Okay, so we can skip right to combining like terms. So if we take our y's, we have a 7y, and then we subtract 4y away. Well, that gives us 3y. Plus 5 equals 8. Okay, and then we just have a basic 2-step equation. We know how to solve those. So undo addition with subtraction. So our 3y equals 8 minus 5, which is 3. Okay, now last step, we have to undo our multiplication with division. And our y ends up equaling 1. Okay, so we see that half of our ordered pair solution is going to be 1, so let's go ahead and write that out. Okay, so we have x, y, and we know that our y is 1. Now we have to go back and find our x. We have to plug it in. So remember, take your x value or your y value, and we're going to plug it in to the easier of the 2 equations, which is the bottom one. Okay, so let's rewrite that bottom equation, but instead of y, I'm going to put 1. All right, so we have x equals 7y plus 5, and I'm going to put a 1 where the y is. So we have x equals 7 times 1 plus 5. Okay, now 7 times 1 is going to give us 7. And if we add 5 to that, we get x equals 12. Okay, so that would be our final solution of this guy. Okay, so there's your ordered pair solution 12-1 for this specific problem. Okay, now we have one example left. Okay, and this guy is new to the group. Okay, but before we go ahead and solve him, I got a quick joke for you. All right, here's the joke. What do you call a nervous javelin thrower? Think about it. Think about it. Shakespeare. You like it. All right, so far in all of our problems, we've been looking at ones where only one of the equations was solved for. But as you can see, in this example, both of them are solved for. On both cases, y is all by itself, and it's both solved for. So we know that y is both of those things. Well, if y is both of those things, we could say that y is equal. So when this happens, if both equations are solved for y, or both equations are solved for x, you need to, and I want you to write this down, set equations equal to each other. Okay, so set equations equal to each other. So we're going to take these 2 equations and we're going to set them equal to each other. So you can take this and set it equal to this, or you can do it vice versa. It doesn't matter. So I'm going to set 8x plus 8, and I'm going to set that equal to 3x minus 12. Okay, so 8x plus 8, and that equals 3x minus 12. Now, this is a certain type of equation called a variables on both sides equation that we've seen before. Okay, the first step you got to do is undo or get the variables on the same side, and we always move the smallest one. Okay, so that means we need to subtract 3x on both sides, and those x's cancel out, so we have 5x plus 8 equals negative 12. Okay, so that gives us our first step, and we're down to a two-step equation. So now we got to undo addition with subtraction, and that'll give us 5x equals, and negative 12 minus 8 is negative 20. Okay, last step, undo multiplication with division. So our x equals negative 4. Okay, so that is the first part of our ordered pair. So let's go ahead and write that down. We have our x, y ordered pair, and we know that our x is negative 4. Okay, so to find our y, we can plug into either one of these equations for x. Let's choose the bottom one. Okay, so let's rewrite that equation. We have y equals 8x plus 8, and inside that we're going to place our negative 4. So we have y equals 8 times our x value, which was negative 4, and we'll add 8 to that. Okay, so what's 8 times negative 4? Multiplication facts. Okay, we got negative 32, and we're going to add 8 to that. Okay, so remember, if you have a negative and you have a positive, it should be getting closer to 0, so we have negative 24 for our final value for y. Okay, so let's put our negative 24 in there, and then we will be done. All right. Okay, hopefully these examples help you out. See you next time.